All right, let me move. Okay, there we go. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Welcome, Nadia. Thank you for agreeing to do this.
Of course. Let me just, I had it so good before. My husband uses this room for Zooming all the time for work, because he's not working out, at his office anymore. Okay, I'm just going to shift over the other way a little bit. Okay, perfect.
Okay. So welcome. My name is Melissa Erickson. I'm the Executive Director of the Alliance for Public Schools. And thank you for agreeing to do this forum today. As I explained to you on the phone when we discussed this, we're doing these 20-minute interviews.
Okay.
There are 7 questions to guide the conversation, but you have no time limit on the individual questions, just a 20-minute time limit overall. So if we don't get through all the questions, but you get to say what is important, and that's, the goal, so that the voters can get to know you. And the timer will start when I start with the first question.
Okay, and have most of the people been getting through all the questions?
So almost everybody has gotten through all of the questions, and a couple of people have had a few minutes left over.
Okay, great. I just want to make sure that,
Yep.
I am.
But,
okay.
Okay, so the first question is, we are at the Alliance. We founded public schools because we think sometimes the good news doesn't get out. So we want to know what the good news is. So tell me what you love about public schools.
Well, what I love about public schools is I'm a product of a public school system. I moved to the United States when I was 8 years old, and I came here for more opportunities, and the public schools, gave me that. I was able to go through public elementary, middle school, and high school. I was able to graduate from USF with an undergrad and graduate. I was able to be a teacher for 10 years. It allowed me to teach overseas for several years in a small island off the coast of Japan. It also allowed me to open 2 businesses. And I just want to give back to the community, give back to the students, and make our public schools the #1 choice for students. So that's what public schools has done for me.
Fantastic. So the next question is, what are the attributes of an effective school board member? Which attributes are your strengths, and which would you struggle with?
Okay. My attributes is I know I have the knowledge, the background, the expertise as an educator. I taught in Hillsborough County schools for a decade. I taught at Franklin Middle School. I taught at a dropout prevention program where students were either coming in who were, had been incarcerated or had been in the juvenile system, or this was their last shot in. So I really worked closely with Title I students my entire career. So I feel like that's what I bring to. I bring a perspective of someone who's been in the schools, who's worked in District 5. I also was the department head in District 1, which I'm running under District 1. So I have really worked with students with all different levels. Students who were really below level. I've worked with gifted students. I ran an after-school tutoring program for all Title I students in the state of Florida. I was in 17 districts. So I bring that expertise of someone who ran an effective program. I also bring, right now, I've had a tutoring center. I've owned a tutoring center for 6 years. So I see kids from charter, private, public schools. So I have that perspective where I see what other students are doing throughout the county. And I want to make sure that parents are choosing Hillsborough County Public Schools every single time. So my strength is my knowledge, also my expertise. I work very well with others. I am an advocate. I talk to parents on a regular basis. Just recently, I've had so many parents reach out to me, and I want to make myself available. So it's hard for me to understand how we have, it is okay to have members in the school board who come from the community. But if you have an opportunity for someone who comes from the community, I currently have 2 students in the public high schools, so I know what's happening. They've experienced going through e-learning. I have a son who will be a senior this year. I have a sophomore entering, I have a sophomore as well in high school. So I also bring that perspective, not just as an educator, as a business owner, as a community member, but also as a parent and a stakeholder. So those are some of the things that I bring to the school board. And I know that I'm able to learn and work well with people. I've been involved in student government through college and everything like that. So I know that I can work well with the school board members. And I think with a brand new superintendent, we need to make sure that we have people who are educators who can help make those best decisions on what's going to best work for our families and our parents and our children right now. And even for the future, of course.
Okay, next question is, what role does family and community engagement play in public schools?
Well, it's hand in hand. When you see, I mean, I worked in communities where a lot of parents weren't coming into the schools. So we really worked into the community and brought those students back. When I was teaching at Franklin Middle School, I did home visits often. I knew parents. I would call parents. So we really built a community. I also think that the district or some schools aren't really looking at how community and businesses can support public schools. I mean, if we can engage the community, if we can engage businesses and we can engage parents, then all together, you're going to see a lot of success. I look at Mort Elementary. I ran a program in that school for many years. I have many friends who are teachers at Mort Elementary. As you've brought the community in and you've brought businesses in, people are all working together as stakeholders. So I think that's really important. I think we need to go out into the schools and reach parents, reach the community, and bring them back in, because I think parents, I mean, you know, every parent wants the best for their child. There's no question about that. Anyone who has a child wants the best for their children, and the family wants the best for children. So I think we need to work together to make sure voices are heard. I think often parents might not know what to do. I remember many years ago meeting a parent whose child was really struggling, and me discussing, hey, why don't you go to the library and get some books? And the parent thought, I never thought about that. I'm thinking about how I'm going to put food on the table tomorrow. I never thought about that. So I think we need as many people who are going to advocate for our students, who are going to support our families to do the best that we can. There's no question about it. The amount of money it costs when someone goes into the jail system. I mean, why can't we do what we need to do for kids at a younger level and start supporting that? One of the biggest things for me is really, I feel like there's just so much focus on testing now, and so much focus on day 5, every child should be there at the exact same moment. And I think that really affects students. I think it affects their self-worth. And I think we need to make sure we give teachers back. You know, teachers go into teaching because they want to be creative. They know how to reach students. So if a child is not learning a certain concept, then we need to stop and remediate that child. We need to stop going forward and thinking that every child needs to be in the exact same spot. And that is really doing a huge disservice to our ESE students, to our ESOL students, who are students who maybe are struggling and who will be successful in life. I mean, I often say the way you feel, it's not what someone says to you, it's how someone makes you feel. So it's really important that we have our children that feel good about themselves, that they feel that that even though maybe they're not the top reader in first grade, that they can be successful in life. It really bothers me to see a child who's so young not feel good about themselves. So I think the community, I think the business holders, I think teachers, all the stakeholders need to work together to make sure that students can be successful.
Okay, next question is, if you are elected to serve this term on the board, how do schools, the district, and community look different in 4 years?
Well, I definitely think that the schools and the district and the community would look different. I have lived in District 1 for 25 years. I worked in District 1 as a department head at Davidson Middle School. So I understand the community. When I had the after-school tutoring programs, every Title I school in District 1 I was involved in. I walked in that hallway. I provided an after-school service for 8 years to those students in District 1, to Crestwood, Alexander, Pierce, Webb, all those schools. So my goal is to go out there and advocate for District 1, as well as all the other students in Hillsborough County schools. So how that will look different is I will make sure that I'm accessible. I will make sure that I also advocate for students to make sure that we have the correct curriculum, that we have the lessons, that parents have options. I think that expanding our dual language programs, expanding career and vocational technical programs, not just at the high school, but the middle school, expanding the AP dual enrollment. I mean, we can't have kids walk out of college owing $50,000, $60,000 and not being able to have a job. I mean, there's so many opportunities for kids to walk out of high school with dual enrollment classes. We need to make sure that we have electives that are going to interest students and keep students. I'm so proud of Hillsborough County for their increased graduation rates, but let's see what kids do afterwards. We need to give them that support so that way they can do better in life. So I think things will look different in Hillsborough County because I'm going to be active. I'm going to be in the schools. I'm going to be I'm going to help make decisions on curriculum, on instruction, representing teachers, representing also the paraprofessionals. We forget how important every single member in the school is. I know as a teacher of 10 years, when I walked into the school, the number one person who was my ally was the school secretary. We need to make sure that the community and the environment in the school is positive. I mean, we know that there's a lot of social inequity, and what are we going to do to make sure that every child has the same opportunity? So I am, as my expertise, as I watch school board meetings, I'm watching them and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I have so many innovative ideas. I have so many suggestions. I have, even with the e-learning recently, I thought, gosh, I have so many ideas and suggestions. And the one thing that I would like to see improve in Hillsborough County is the communication. I think a lot of parents are still not clear what these options mean. I think there's a lot of miscommunication, and that's one of the things that I'm going to advocate for and make sure that I'm available so that parents understand clearly what the choices are, what decisions. I think parents often don't know how to navigate through schools, and you have parents who have come from immigrant families who maybe don't understand the school system. I think personally, on a personal level, I've had students who come to my center and their child needs ESC services, but culturally they don't really understand what that means, because in their culture maybe it was something negative. So I think really communication between the parents, between all the stakeholders, between the teachers, the administrators is going to be critical, and I know that I can bring that to District 1 as well as the rest of Hillsborough County Public Schools.
Okay, next question is, what kind of school board member will you be if elected?
I will be a hands-on type of school board member. I am the type of person who I will be going out to the schools, and when I go out to the schools, I'm going to be looking at things differently than the incumbent. When I go into a school, into District 1 or into District 5 or into District 4, I'm going in with somebody who's had 30 years of educational experience. I mean, I graduated from USF with my undergrad in education. I have my master's degree in educational leadership. I was district teacher of the year for middle school social studies. I was Franklin Middle School Teacher of the Year. I received the Drum Major Award. So I lived and breathed teaching. I loved teaching. It was kind of by accident that I left education and started an after school program. But my heart has always been with kids and working with kids. So for me, I'm going to be the school board member. My number one priority is going to be, advocating for parents. Advocating for our students, and which basically means advocating for parents, because parents want the best for children. Also, I want to make sure that I advocate for teachers, because I understand what teachers are going through every day. I understand the responsibilities. I understand the paperwork. I work with a lot of teachers right now at my business, and I often hear the challenges they face. So I'm going to be a school board member who's going to represent all the stakeholders. I am absolutely not interested in a political career. This is where it ends for me. I want to be in the school board because I love kids. I want to advocate for children. I want to support. I have been very fortunate in my life that I grew up with many challenges in my life, and the public school gave me those opportunities and it gave me those choices. And I often think there's not another country in America where you can reinvent yourself 3 or 4 times. I mean, I could turn around tomorrow and go back to school and become a nurse. I mean, so we need to make sure that all children have that same opportunity and that they have that same opportunity that I had coming here with a single mom on free and reduced lunch. I grew up with very little, and I was able to graduate college. I was able to pay off my student loans by going overseas. I mean, all of these opportunities were given to me because of the public schools. So I want to do the same thing. When I decided to run for school board, I said, gosh, I'm a really private person. I love to do good things for good people. And I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of expertise, and I want to give back to the community. As I was going through COVID and I watched school board meetings, I thought, gosh, we need somebody who's really going to understand what teachers are going through every day, who understand the administrators, the custodians, the secretaries, who understands that there's a child sitting there who maybe hasn't eaten all day, who maybe comes from a hard family. You know, we need to look at mental health issues. We need to look at supporting our families. We need to look at supporting our children. That's our future. And so I was very lucky at a very young age. At 18 years old, I loved working with people and helping people. So that is the reason I'm running, is because I want to help our community. I want to be a spokesperson. I'm not interested. I mean, I don't have any, political action committees donating to me. People who are donating to me are my former students, are my friends, are teachers who know me. So, I am there as a school board member without any kind of, ulterior motive or any kind of political action committees. And I'm not interested in becoming a senator. I want to work on the school board because I'm a teacher. I've been a teacher my entire life. I've been an educator my entire life. And I want to make sure that we make Hillsborough County Public Schools the best choice. I am not anti-charter school, but I am very anti-profit, for-profit charter schools. But I see students in a lot of different private schools every day. And I think, why aren't those same opportunities given to every single child? And what can I do to help every single child in our community? So, that is what I bring to the board. I bring somebody who is honest, who's transparent, who wants to work with the board, who wants to make changes, who's going to align and work with school board members. I know, I see what it takes to get your voice heard. And I'm going to be the voice for the students and the parents and the teachers. So that's really what I plan to do. And that's why why I'd like to be on the school board.
Okay. I want to let you know you have about 5 minutes left for the last two questions. Again, you don't have to get through them all. You've had, what you want to say. I just want to let you know. What are the responsibilities of the school board and individual school board members related to public education advocacy?
Okay. I think that we need to make sure that we are talking to our voters, that we are talking to our parents, and we are talking to people who advocate for public education. And so with all that, my responsibility, as I've said numerous times, is to be the voice of that, the voice for the parents, the voice for the ESE parents, the voice for the ESOL parents. So that's what I'm doing. I have talked to numerous parents. I'm going out to the community, and I want to be that voice to make sure that we continue funding public schools. I mean, there are some great charter schools, but there are many charter schools that parents don't realize. Like, I'll have parents come to me who could be attending a wonderful public school, but because they see a beautiful building, they might think that their child is getting a better education there. I need parents to know that Hillsborough County Public Schools is the #1 choice for their child.
And then the last question, with about 3 minutes left, is what does constituent outreach and constituent services look like under you as a school board member?
Okay. Well, the first thing I would like to do is I absolutely will go out to the schools. I'm going to have a website where I'm available all the time to answer questions. I've already, I'm going to have to, I have a job right now, and I've already thought about hiring somebody else, because my goal is to be at the schools every day, to go out there and support. So I'm going to go out. I'd like to have coffees in the morning and the afternoons. I plan on attending PTA meetings. I plan on attending. I'm not going to go into a school for a photo op. I do see, school board members who are going in there. Okay, it's great to support a graduation, of course, but let's see what we need to do to get that child to graduation. And let's see how we're going to support that child, so that way they have all the skills and the abilities to do well later on in life. So I am really going to be accessible by email, by phone. I mean, people can contact me now at 813-263-2088. Yesterday, I had 2 voters call me. You can contact me at Nadia at votenadiacombs.com. People contact me through Facebook. I am going to be very accessible. So that's my goal, to be accessible to the schools, to be accessible to the parents, to be accessible to administrators, and to be accessible to anybody. Because even if you don't have a child in the community, these are your tax dollars that are going into the school system. So you need to know what's happening in the schools. And the better that we do in our community, you know, even having the bright futures and keeping our best and brightest in Florida. The more we do for our children, the better future everyone is going to have. Not just us, but our children, but everybody.
You have 1 minute and 54 seconds. If there's something that you have to add that you want to add.
Okay. I guess what I'd like to add is that I really, you know, I love students. I love children. I want to make a difference in our school system. I am not here for political aspirations. I am here because I have the knowledge, I have the expertise, I have the 30 years of not only being an educator in the school system, but also building 2 education businesses. And when I built those businesses, those were from the ground up. The first one I built out of my garage, in my garage. And by the end, I had 300 tutors that worked with me. You know, for my tutoring center, I built that from the ground up. I didn't go into a franchise. I built it from the ground up, working day by day. I am a very hard worker. I'm determined. I want to make an impact in our schools. I want to make an impact with our students. As we approach through e-learning, there is never going to be a more important time for all of our students. You know, all the research shows by the end of 3rd grade, if kids struggle, they're going to struggle for the rest of their careers. What does this pandemic mean for our future? We need people who are going to come up with solutions, with innovative ideas, with strategies that are going to help our students. We need people who are going onto the board who don't have, an ulterior motive, who aren't trying to grow something or build a name for themselves. We need people who are like me, who are parents, who want to advocate for children, who want to make a difference in our community. So although, I'm a grassroots type of campaign school board
10
member,
seconds.
I would hope that people understand that I will make an impact, and to please vote for me, Nadia Combs.
Okay, thank you so much, Nadia. I really appreciate your time.
Okay.
You used every minute of it, which is a good.
Yay.
You're getting to be a campaign expert by now.
I don't know. I'm still kind of nervous every time I go on, but I just try to, just be myself.
So thank you. We're holding all of these until we complete every race, all candidates in every race, both in Hillsborough and Pinellas County. And so I have one left to schedule, but I've let that person know that if they don't schedule with me by Monday, I'm posting anyways. Okay. So it will be posted, and I will send to your campaign contact information. I will send you the link when it's up there if you choose to share the video with people. Okay. Okay,
great. Is there anything else that you need or anything like that?
That's it. Thank you so much.
Are you a parent in Hillsborough County?
I was a parent in Hillsborough County. My child went to Hillsborough County Public Schools.
Okay. Oh, so you're done now. You're relaxed.
Well, yeah. Now I just advocate for 200 and almost 20,000 here, and then in Pinellas, Orange, Osceola, and Volusia counties we work.
Okay, great. I went to Volusia County schools. I think we talked about it. Well, thank you so much, Melissa.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.